And we begin with good day, sir.
Geeks come in all shapes and sizes, and that they come into all kinds of things.
I was thinking more about the Satanic Panic.
By the scholar Gary Gygax.
Well, wait, hold on.
I said good day, sir. Not defending Roman slavery by any stretch, but
God, that's bad.
let them vote. Fuck off.
When historians, and especially British historians, want to get cute.
Oh, it's in there.
Okay.
It is not worth the journey. This is a Geek History of Time.
I'm Ed Blaylock. I've been a geek since birth, really, but one of the most notable aspects of my early geekdom was the fact that on a trip to Florida with my family, I sat in the back of my parents' car driving across the state reading the Fellowship of the Ring at the age of 7. Wow. I wasn't able to follow very much of it, but the images warped my brain permanently for life. Damien, how about you?
I'm Damien Harmony. I've been a geek most of my life. I am now raising the next generation of geeks. My daughter and I watched all of the Lord of the Rings, extended cuts. Oh, wow. Yeah, over winter break.
My God, that's an iron butt right there.
Boy, howdy. And now we're working our way through The Hobbit. And she absolutely loves, I forget his name, the guy who busted out of the barrel with the axes and went to town on the orcs.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't talk much. Bomber, I think.
Bomber.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she loved that scene. So I'm very proud of my little girl.
It is a good one.
Yeah. What do you do for a living?
I'm a middle school history teacher.
Oh.
Which means a glutton for punishment. And my background in history, I don't have an advanced degree, but I do a lot of reading. I got my bachelor's from the University of California at Davis, go Ags, in history, focusing on Western Europe, East Asia, and a little bit on American history. How about you?
I am a Latin teacher, formerly a social science teacher, though. I got a master's degree in gender history, technically. I guess technically it's just history, but I focused on gender history, specifically on women's suffrage in England. But I also dabbled quite a bit in American history, specifically American women's history, the history of the birth control movement. Stayed very focused on the women, but as well as I did dabble in medieval history for quite a bit. And given that I'm a Latinist, I know a fair amount about Rome.
Well, kind of just by dint of being adjacent to it all the time and teaching, it's kind of unavoidable.
Yeah, it's helpful.
All right, yeah, I can believe it. So, got a question for you.
Do it.
You have mentioned watching the full extended cut.
Yes.
Of The Lord of the Rings recently.
Yeah. Instead of just going on a hike, I watched short people taking a hike. If they were taller, the movies would have been shorter.
Would have been odd. That's an interesting statement. I had never thought of it that way, but you're right. So how much do you know about Tolkien's life experiences?
I've not read anything about it. I know that he got through World War I.
Yes.
His movies seem to be couched in neo-Nazi or Nazi-light ideology.
See, it's really funny that you say that.
Yeah.
Because the interpretation that you come away with from that, I think, has a lot to do with the fact that he was a lover of Germanic mythology, that he was a lover of the source material, of that source material, that and Anglo-Saxon stories, which is itself Germanic, informed the tropes he used and all that kind of stuff.
He's also British.
They
have an anti-Semitic streak in them.
Well, what's interesting, speaking of that, I'm gonna address that right away.
Oh, good.
In 1939, The Hobbit was published in 1937.
Okay.
And a German publisher approached him in 1939. And because of German law at the time, he had to provide proof that he was not Jewish.
Right.
And his response was, I am not fortunate enough to be able to claim any of those wonderfully talented,
Yes.
wonderfully creative, wonderfully... I mean, he was effusive in his praise of Jewish people. I cannot claim any of them in my ancestry, but, now that you bring up the question, I don't think I want to be published in Germany anymore.
Good on him.
He threw the finger.
Good.
His choice of words about Hitler in correspondence that he wrote to his sons and to other people is the way you and I regularly talk after I've had a beer about our current president. It is scathing and disdainful would be an understatement.
Sure.
He was anti-fascist. Now,
Sure.
It's worth noting he was a Catholic. So there is a certain level of belief in the legitimacy of hierarchy. There's a certain, deference to authority, all that kind of stuff. But it is because of Leni Riefenstahl and the cinematic language that got used by the fascists, and the fact that his work was inspired by a lot of the same source material. He can be viewed, or the movies can be viewed that way.
They certainly have a bit of a shading around the edges like that, with the elves being kind of the Übermenschen who don't have to worry about snow, for instance, and who have all these cool special powers, and the dwarves essentially being money-grubbing, greedy, big-nosed, long-bearded.
Yes,
they look like the goblins from Hogwarts.
And what should be noted is the goblins from Hogwarts and the dwarves in the Lord of the Rings have the same antecedents in Germanic myth, which is to say, dwarves and goblins were essentially gnomes. All of them were basically the same critters, depending on which skald it was who was telling the story that night.
Good point. Very good point.
So Tolkien is a victim
of presentism.
My thesis is he's a victim of presentism in that case. Now, it is interesting to note that the Dwarvish language, as presented in Lord of the Rings, was influenced very heavily by Semitic language structures. Khazad, I menu.
Oh, wow.
Kuzdul, the name of their language, Khazad Kuzdul, operates under the idea that you have the consonants k, z, d, and the way they fit together, like in a Semitic language, the vowels that you insert changes what the meaning is, but they are all shades of the same word.
Right.
Okay, Kuzdul is their language, Khazad is the people, okay, like Arabic. Like,
SLA, or SLM, salam. Yeah.
Yes.
Shalom.
Precisely.
Yep.
So it is interesting that is there.
So he's pulling on it.
That might have been subconscious because of the times that he lived in,
And that's what I said, previously with the giant broad brush. But
but he was genuinely an anti-fascist, genuinely a naturalist in a very big way, which I'm going to get into in more detail here. Now, I'm kind of looking at the time because we were trying to not turn this into a 2-hour one, and I'm trying to figure out what parts of all this to keep in.
You know what? Just find a break spot, and then we'll turn it into a two
if necessary.
You'll get to episode A and an episode B of this one.
So we'll see. I'm gonna see what I can do. So
this will not be the director's cut.
Brief background biography.
Sure.
He was born in 1892 in South Africa.
Okay.
His family was originally German, as you might note from the sound of his name, Tolkien. They had come into England in the 16th century.
Okay.
And so by the time he was born, his whole family was thoroughly English, culturally, in every way.
All but name.
Yeah. His father was a bank manager in South Africa.
Okay.
He came to England at age 3 with his mother on what was supposed to be a long family visit, and while they were there, his father died.
Oh.
Which created a problem because this was 1895, and there really was no prospect for him or his brother now that their father was dead and their mother was a widow with 2 very young children. They were left literally orphans in the sense that it was used at the time, fatherless.
Right.
And so he grew up in very strained circumstances. Money was always an issue. They were always depending on family or other people.
The kindness of others.
Yes. He learned to read by the age of 4,
Wow.
Wrote fluently by the age of 5, and his mother instilled in him a love of languages from the very start. She started teaching him Latin, as a matter of fact, basically at 5 or 6.
When's that ever going to do anybody any good?
Yeah, I don't know. You might be able to get a job as a Latin teacher, but who the fuck would want to do that?
I am a cautionary tale to my students. I tell them that regularly. If you do really well at this, be careful.
You might become a cook on a submarine, which is another story. Now, his mother converted to Catholicism in 1900. Now, her family were Baptists. Her husband's family were Church of England. She became a Catholic because the teachings of the church gave her a great deal of comfort in the face of the hardship she was facing as a widow with 2 young children.
That makes a lot of sense.
And she died of acute diabetes in 1904.
Now, did they know to classify it as such at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she had her cause of death was diabetes mellitus.
It was only like 10, 15 years later they came up with insulin. Yeah.
Yes, she was one of the last casualties on a historical scale, one of the last casualties of diabetes mellitus. She lived to be about 37, if I remember the number correctly, which was about as long as a diabetes patient could expect to live at that time. By that time, he was 12, and that left him and his brother in the care of Father Francis Xavier Morgan.
Now, is his brother older or younger than
Younger.
He? Okay.
Younger brother. And his mother left them in the care of this friend and kind of mentor of hers, Father Morgan, partly out of concern that her own family or their father's family would pull them away from the church.
Oh, okay. So
he earned a scholarship to King Edward's School in Birminghamshire, a boys' school of notable prestige.
Okay.
And then attended and graduated with first-class honors in 1915.
And so he's roughly
15. Sorry. 1915, he graduates with honors from Exeter College in Oxford. That got scrambled in my notes.
Sure.
When he was 16 years old, and Edith was her name, she was a couple of years older, he met the woman who became his wife and the love of his life.
Nice.
And the story is quintessential early 20th century bourgeois melodrama. His father figure, Father Morgan, forbade him to see her because he was afraid, 1, she was a distraction from his studies, and 2, she was a Protestant.
Oh.
Her family did not approve of him because he was an orphan with no prospects.
And a Catholic.
And he was ordered not to speak to her until he was 21. They were parted for 5 years.
This is so British.
It's so intensely British. It's
British.
It's something out of a drawing room drama.
Yeah.
They were separated for 5 years, and he followed Father Morgan's instructions. He did not want to go against the man who had taken over the role of his father.
Okay.
And he said to his son years later that I put your mother through a great deal of suffering, and I feel badly for it, but I couldn't have done it any differently. And then at the end of 5 years...
God, that is so British.
At the end of 5 years, he wrote to her, and he said, I have never for a day loved you any less than I did 5 years ago. Will you still, consent to, be with me?
Let us court.
She had accepted an offer of engagement from another man who she broke it off with.
This sounds like my grandparents.
Go with Tolkien.
Okay.
And so they got married, and everybody thought they were doomed because he had no prospects. She converted to Catholicism in order to marry him. And so by this time, of course, we were talking about 1914, 1915. The war has started.
Yes.
And at the outset of the war, Tolkien got a deferment in order to finish his degree.
This really sounds like my grandparents now.
Yeah. But after graduating in 15, he had to either join up or be ostracized. As he put it, the hints from family were becoming pointed.
Is this the White Feather campaign?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Four Feathers, one of my favorite old-timey movies.
Okay.
The newer one with Heath Ledger,
very
good as well.
Okay.
By newer, I mean it's 17 years old now, at least.
Yeah.
Very good as well. Frankly, gets deeper into the pathology and the emotionality of it.
Yeah.
but I'm still a sucker for the first one.
Okay. I'll have to look it up.
That's really good.
So he got a second lieutenant's commission in the Lancashire Fusiliers.
Uh-huh.
Spent 11 months in training with them.
Okay.
And then in June 1916, he was sent to France, arriving at the front just in time to participate in the Battle of the Somme.
Bad timing.
Yes.
Bad timing. I know a lot about the Battle of the Somme.
Yeah, okay. Well, you can fill in some of the gaps here in my notes. He participated directly in the assaults on the Schwaben Redoubt and Leipzig salient.
Did he survive?
Yes. Good one.
Thank
Good
you.
one.
Well, because he has like a 1 in 50,000 chance of not.
No, he has a really remarkable chance.
By the way, the Battle of Cannae.
Yeah.
Hannibal versus the Romans.
Yeah.
They lost more people in that battle that day than the Battle of the Somme's first day.
Really?
And I would just like to put that into perspective because those guys were all using swords in the Battle of the Somme and stabby swords.
Muscle-powered kinetic weaponry.
Right. Whereas the Battle of the Somme is
machine guns, shelling, grenades.
Yeah, and you don't get to run. You have to walk because you don't want to be tired by the time you get to the German trench.
Yeah.
Like they that was a special.
Yeah.
And no armor. By the way.
Yeah.
The Romans had to stab through armor.
Yes.
And they lost, by the way.
Yeah.
Like Hannibal and his folks, they stabbed through Roman armor and shields.
Yeah. Well, part of the key there is if you're a professional soldier in that era, you know where the points are you need to hit. Also
true. And you know how to make a
gap,
shield unwieldy. Yeah. Also, the other fun fact about the Battle of Cannae, the Romans found themselves backed up against a lake.
Yeah.
It doesn't go well when you're backed up against a lake.
It never does. Historically, that's a bad way to go.
Also, a lot of their city leaders were involved in that war.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, a lot of the political elites.
But yeah, Battle of the Somme, 50,000 dead in one day. Pretty terrible.
Yeah, Schwaben Redoubt, Leipzig salient. And then he was never the most physically robust individual to begin with. And he wound up, because of the circumstances that they were having to sleep in, he was at one point attacked by lice, as thousands of other men were. And he came down, as a result of that, he came down with trench fever.
Oh, wow.
He was medically invalided for the rest of the war.
Wow.
Spent time in and out of hospitals for another year. And then from 1917 on, he was in home front positions, still serving, but on the home front.
Yeah.
And what we mentioned, I don't remember which episode it was recently, but talking about super weapons. World War I was the first major mechanized war.
Yes.
Okay. Machine guns had been invented 20 years before, at least 10 years before.
Well, you had Gatling guns,
Gatling
which are
guns,
kind of machine guns.
Yeah. But the first really self-loading machine guns are a creation of the early 20th century.
Right.
But machine guns, really huge, large-scale massed artillery. The earliest weapons of mass destruction in the form of gas. Trench warfare. All of them sold, and this is an important point I want to bring up because it has bearing on Lord of the Rings. They were all sold as scientific methods to make war more efficient. They were all sold as the army that has the machine gun will be insurmountable. We have the Maxim gun, and the difference is that we have the Maxim gun and they have not. That's Kipling's poetry talking about somebody else. But these were there's no way. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you fight when somebody, a crew of 2 men manning a liquid-cooled machine gun can cut down a platoon?
Now I want to point. Gesundheit. I want to
for everybody listening. I apologize.
I want to point out the importance of it being a crew weapon. Had it not been a crew weapon, you would have not seen the lethality that you saw with it.
Oh no!
And here's why. The amount of soldiers who refused to fire on their fellow men in war was somewhere to the tune of 90%.
Yes.
They still fired, but they would fire and miss.
Over their heads, fire and miss.
And some of that is panic shooting, oh God.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is, it's hard to kill a man.
Yes.
As much as like we think, it's getting worse, we've gotten way more civilized. Now, in World War I, to train a soldier, You had him shoot at a bullseye.
Yes.
You don't start having soldiers shooting at Gesundheit.
Humanoid figures.
Yeah, at humanoid silhouettes until Vietnam, maybe Korea. Because they're still shooting at bullseyes in World War II. Yeah. And as a result, it's hard to transfer that skill over to, that's an actual person, that's my brother.
Yeah.
You also had, during the first Christmas, you had the Christmas truce.
Yes.
You had all these instances where people clearly don't want to kill each other. A crew weapon, on the other hand, though, you are no longer accountable only to yourself and your own conscience. You are accountable to somebody else. And as we've seen in bullying, as we've seen in using the use of chariots in Britain against the Romans, when you have another person that you're responsible to, you have to kill more.
Yeah.
And so when you have a 2-man or even a 3-man, because you also have the spotter, a 3-man crew, that's when the lethality really rips them open. I mean, yes, you're throwing hundreds and thousands of rounds down range.
Yeah.
But now it's, I can't betray these guys in front of me.
Yeah, I don't have the ability to shirk hitting the target.
Right.
Yeah.
So very important.
That is an important point.
Yeah.
Also, an important point is the conceptualization of the way command structure altered over the course of the war. The way staff developments had happened in the end of the 19th century. The idea of a general staff, coming up with these war plans, the mechanistic way in which that was now handled.
The, quote, scientific way.
Yeah, the scientific way in which it was all handled. War colleges becoming a thing.
Right.
In a very modern sense. The idea of there being a staff corps within the army at the high levels of command was a creation of... shortly before Napoleon.
Yeah, and people's jobs were specifically to come up with plans for different things. You had the pigeonholes for the von Schlieffen plan. Yeah.
And so all of these things, all of these developments were supposed to make it so that, look, we're going to be the winning side.
Right.
We have these tools, we have these techniques, we have this stuff.
Super piece.
Just like, what's the point?
Right.
Really, come on. And then you had politics run completely out of control, and the opportunity for any one actor at the beginning of the war to say, whoa, hold up, was eliminated. Especially when you got a guy like Kaiser fucking Wilhelm running Germany, who
thank goodness we've learned.
I could devote an episode to what a shitbag Wilhelm was. As a human being, not even as a crowned head of state, just as a person. What a complete asshole he was.
My favorite part is that he left afterwards.
Yeah,
and it's like, God damn it,
son of a
bitch! Face some justice.
Face some kind of something. Yeah. And so all of these developments were supposed to make war scientific, make it modern, make it effectively unwageable.
Sure.
They did make it a lot more efficient, but because everybody was playing with the same murderous toy box, it just upped the lethality. And it just upped the level and the scale of the destruction. And it turned everything into a dragging, muddy, hideous, maiming war of attrition.
Yes.
And, if you think about the trenches, in order to cope with the defensive capability, because at this point machine guns are big, heavy,
they're not mobile weapons.
They're not mobile. You can't pick them up and carry them. You don't see that until the Browning automatic rifle and German developments in World War II. In World War I, they are a fixed emplacement. They are a defensive weapon.
Yes.
Well, here's the deal. You march up as far as you can, and then you build your own defensive emplacement so they can't, advance out of theirs. Yeah, it's just, and then you wind up building a city of moles. Mm-hmm. And you sit there in the rain and the mud, and everybody gets sick, and everybody gets cold, And then on the German side, particularly, supply chains start running short toward the end of the war. So everybody's hungry. Nobody has dry shoes or socks. Everybody's equipment is falling apart.
Oh, and by the way, you've brought in your colonials, so you can't even talk to the guys next to you anyway.
Yeah.
And you've got good old-fashioned racism.
Yeah.
And you've got good old-fashioned classism.
And you got
and you've got the we talked about Rod Serling a few episodes back.
Yeah.
You've got what made Rod Serling such a wonderful writer was the fact that in World War II, there was a guy in his unit, I think he was in the Pacific, who was standing underneath a palm tree doing something or other, I think entertaining the troops. And something either knocked a coconut loose and it killed him, or no, it was a supply drop crushed him.
Jesus.
Out of the fucking blue.
Oh my God.
And I might have compressed the story with something funny, but it was a very unexpected and chaotic death.
Yeah.
And unnecessary. Yes.
Pointless, unnecessary, random.
And you had that in World War I, in the trenches. Death could and would come at any moment.
A sniper catching you when you let your guard down. The enemy starts shelling, and you're not able to get to cover in time.
Your buddy's munitions go off for no good reason.
On top
of all that other misery.
Yeah, well, and then the manner in which men were dying,
right,
was hideous.
Yes.
If you look at skeletons out of a mass grave from antiquity, they died ugly too. But you can see sword wounds,
predictably,
skulls, but it's predictable. The rapidity with which it happened was, you could see the Carthaginian, bringing his falcata down, and when it hits your buddy's skull, you're like, well, that's what was gonna happen.
And my buddy was standing there trying to stab him with the gladius.
So that's what happened.
Right.
In this case, it's like out of nowhere, there's an explosion, and the guy standing next to you is half gone.
Mm-hmm. And you're not. And tomorrow, you might be the guy standing next to someone else.
And so it's hideous in a way war hadn't been before. It's unpredictable and chaotic in a way war hadn't been before.
And it's also more personal because they had the program of signing up with your neighborhood.
Yes.
They had the PALS program.
Yeah.
And so you're not just seeing a guy. You and I have been friends for years.
Yeah.
And if we were in a situation like that, that would be awful,
yeah.
obviously. And the surviving one would just be like, oh my God, I lost my friend.
Yeah.
But we didn't grow up together.
Yeah.
No. That is profoundly different.
Oh, yeah. It's devastating.
Yes.
Devastating, especially on the scale of casualties.
Knowing that you're going to have to go back to his family.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're going to walk down the street.
You're going to be the one to go back to town and kiss the girls. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to have that chance.
And you had planned that.
And nobody planned it.
And you're now walking by the same bookstore you two used to sit down and read books at.
Or drink tea in the case of Tolkien and his friends from school.
There you go.
And so it was the casualties for the Somme for British Empire units, so UK and colonials, topped 500,000.
Right.
And it was massive losses for gains of yards of territory.
Yeah, I think
not even miles. Less than a mile of territory.
Yeah.
Over the course of those offenses. And by the end of the war, Tolkien had lost nearly all of his boyhood friends to the conflict. And like I'm talking about, no doubt as a lieutenant commanding all of these soldiers, he no doubt witnessed firsthand random, pointless, ugly, horrible death everywhere around him.
And if he's an officer, then he has to actually write up reports about this too.
Has to write up reports, and he has to be the one to blow the whistle for his men to go over the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there's a lot of survivor guilt going on there. There's a lot of that.
Intense. Yeah. All kinds of that stuff. And
also, real quick, you had the Battle of the Somme.
Yeah.
You had the other side too. You had the Battle of Verdun.
Yeah.
Where the actual plan was, we're going to lose 5 for every 2 they lose, and that's how we'll win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Well, because again, we're talking
attrition.
About plans. It's a war of attrition, and we're talking about again plans being made by a general staff.
Yes,
who are looking at the math and are removed from the blood and the mud and the shit and the
and you kind of have to be
and you have to be in the role of a military acting as the violent arm of a nation state protecting its interests,
right,
you have to do that.
Yes.
And so, there is the easy moral argument that, oh my God, they're monsters,
right,
which is legitimate, but you also have to take into account,
we have to be, but that's Sherman too.
Yeah.
We have to be monsters so that they quit.
We have to force them to put down their weapons.
Right.
And it's going to suck.
Yeah.
But we got to do it.
Yeah.
So, in World War II, John Ronald Reuel had 3 sons, John Francis, Michael, and Christopher. John Francis was born in 1917, became a priest.
Okay.
Michael served during the Battle of Britain in anti-aircraft artillery, and Christopher served briefly in the RAF.
No, wait. Who's their father?
John Ronald Reuel, Tolkien.
Oh,
the author.
I didn't know that was his name.
Yeah, John Ronald Reuel, Tolkien. And
Gotcha.
Ronald to the family.
Oh,
they called him Ronald.
Really?
Yes, because there were other Johns around.
Naturally.
So
yeah. I've never heard his name until this moment.
Oh yeah. So it's interesting talking about his youngest son, Christopher. Toward the end of the war, wasn't old enough to join up until actually beginning of 45.
Okay.
Or late 44, beginning of 45. And he wrote to his father talking about flying aircraft and all this stuff. And talking about aircraft being used in war. Of course, by this time, Tolkien had started writing Fellowship of the Ring and the other Ring books. He said that he felt about aircraft being used by the RAF the way Sam or Frodo might feel about hobbits mounting orc birds to defend the Shire. Or Nazgul birds, the Dwemerlach, the huge,
Dracoliths, basically.
Yeah. He military technology, after his experiences in the First World War, he was like, no man, yes, I am a loyal citizen of the Empire, I'm going to serve, I understand Hitler's a monster, we got to do what we got to do, but I don't have to fucking like it.
Wow.
And so he himself initially got got called up to serve in a code-breaking unit.
Okay.
And he said, if that's what you need me to do, I'll do it. And they eventually determined that they had other people, Bletchley Park, all that stuff. They had mathematicians, and they figured out the mathematicians were going to be able to do it more effectively than linguists. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Tolkien. We don't need you.
Okay. Now, he was a linguist.
He was a linguist.
Okay.
Yes. And so all of them witnessed the Battle of Britain and all the other terrible things that happened over the course of the war.
Sure.
Brought about by blitzkrieg, the use by both sides of total war tactics, and ultimately of nuclear weapons. So how does this inform The Lord of the Rings? Okay.
I'm seeing some threads here.
There's some kind of, you see some stuff forming.
Yeah.
He wrote it, first of all, to create a mythology for England. Tolkien started with the Silmarillion in 1914. While he was waiting to go to France, he got bored and started writing.
Now, what is the Silmarillion?
The Silmarillion is the story of the creation of Middle-earth. And in The Lord of the Rings, you hear that this is the third age of Middle-earth. The Silmarillion is the story of the first age and the second age. And he never finished it in his lifetime. He was constantly tinkering with it because he never quite got everything right. And after his death, Christopher, who is the most active of his sons in terms of his literary legacy, edited everything because he'd been acting as his father's editor already. And went to publishers and said, okay, look, if we include all these notes, I think we can put this together and not betray what my father wanted to do. And so if you're a hardcore Tolkien nerd, hi, how you doing? You've read it.
You have.
And I have. And so Sauron is the bad guy. Lord of the Rings, the ultimate baddie, the big bad.
The huge eye.
The gigantic eye is Sauron.
Okay.
Sauron was not the first Dark Lord. The first Dark Lord was a guy named Melkor, who later took the name Morgoth. And let me get pointy-headed about Tolkien for a minute and just explain to you that even in trying to create a pantheon of gods for his mythology, Tolkien couldn't stop being a Catholic. Eru, the One, the source of everything.
God?
God.
Okay.
Sang into the void.
Okay.
And out of his song were born the Valar. Okay, and the Valar are essentially his versions of the Greek gods. We have Manwe, who is the god of the sky and air and eagles. We have Ulmo, who is the lord of the waters. We have Orome, who is the lord of the wilderness and the hunt.
This sounds very Norse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A lot of the time they're depicted as looking more Greek, more classical, but there's a lot of that involved.
Yeah.
And then amongst them, mightiest of them and most cunning of them was Melkor, who was the spirit of fire. And Eru directed them all to sing a chorus, and he said, just sing.
Okay.
And they began to sing, and they fell into harmony. Melkor heard the harmony and said, I can make it better.
That's very Catholic.
Very Catholic.
That's Lucifer
and
right
he
there.
sang, he sang his own counterpoint, which caused everybody else to fall off key, and creation, and basically the punchline of all that was what they were singing creation into existence.
Okay.
And where Melkor had fucked with the melody, you had the broken, not quite right, weird, ugly, dark parts of creation.
Orcs.
No, they come later.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
And so Melkor saw creation and immediately wanted to dominate it. He wanted to own it.
Okay.
And in the process of turning away from Eru, turning away from the rest of the Valar, he became Morgoth, the Dark One, the foul one.
Okay, so Melkor is Morgoth.
Melkor and Morgoth are the same guy.
Okay.
Basically,
Anakin is Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
Okay.
Lucifer.
Okay. Is Satan.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the Valar sang again, and out of creation were then born the lesser angels, called Maiar, who were powerful spirits, but not gods.
Okay.
One of them, who's important going forward, is named Myron, who originally served...
What a vanilla nebbish name.
Kind of, yeah.
Is Myron...
M-A-I-R-O-N.
Yeah, it still sounds like Myron.
Like Myron, yeah.
Myron.
And so he was...
He's got a pouch protector.
Yeah. Yeah, pocket protector. Well, he's a nerd because he's a Maiar in service to Aule the Smith, who is the god of... He's essentially Hephaestus, crafting,
right,
making stuff, building things. Any kind of artifice, any kind of craft. Fire of the forge, and all that kind of stuff. And so, originally he was the servant of this creator crafter god, and then Melkor talked to him and was talking about, no, I'm going to impose order on creation. And Mairon went, I dig that.
So he's kind of the anti-Loki.
I dig that, kind of.
Yeah.
And I dig that.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he became evil, unethical, twisted, whatever you want to call it, like Morgoth, because his pride corrupted him and he turned away from what he was supposed to be doing.
More machine now than man.
He became Sauron.
So Sauron
was an angel.
Okay.
As opposed to a Valar, who was essentially
a god.
God scale,
right.
Kind of, D&D god scale, power. And so he sought domination of order, imposition of order on creation and domination over it.
Wait. Okay, so the thing that made them all... Yeah. What was that thing called?
Eru Iluvatar the One.
So it's Queen Victoria, and then she has a bunch of grandkids.
Okay.
And then the little shitty one is Wilhelm II.
Kaiser, yeah, okay.
And he goes around rattling his sword, and he's like, I'm going to impose German order on everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Which is funny if you study medieval and early modern history, because the Germans were the biggest fucking barbarians in Europe up until the Prussians took over.
Oh, God, the Romans were scared shitless of them.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about early Roman period. Not early Roman, early modern period. Mm-hmm. The last person on Earth you'd want to engineer anything was a German.
Yeah,
because they're drunken, loud, barbaric louts.
Oh, there's a fun little part in Caesar's De Bello Gallico where there's a couple where it's obvious that he ate magic mushrooms because he talks about these animals that don't have knees, and then if they fall over, they can never get up. And it's like, really?
Dude.
Really?
Yeah.
And then but then he talks about like these weird ass Germanic tribes where like they will raise geese for fun.
Yeah.
But you can't eat them. Then there's British tribes where they can't eat rabbits.
Yeah.
And they can't eat chickens and they can't eat other. And it's just like this weirdest hodgepodge. And he mentions the aurochs.
Yes.
And the aurochs is extinct by 1634.
Yeah.
And as we discussed in a previous episode, the reason why is because there were redheads having sex in the Black Forest. And that wiped out
all the cattle,
aurochs.
all the wild cattle.
Yeah. But anyway, so
Damn you gingers.
Right?
So
that's why we mate with others now.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, Jesus. So, think about the Battle of Five Armies in The Hobbit.
I haven't gotten to that movie. And
okay.
No, it's the next one.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I mentioned the movie, and I need to let you know I do have some geek cred when it comes to this series, okay? My dad read to me. It was one of the first things. Now, I'm adopted by my dad, right? And I met him when I was about 4. And because he was dating my mother, and she's my biological mother. Anyway, one of the first books he read to me was her copy, the green copy of The Hobbit.
Okay.
And at that time, that book cost like $25 when she bought it, and she was making $1.25 an hour.
Wow.
Then she went and bought the red book of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And that cost her $85 at $1.25.
All right.
So he read to me the entire Hobbit.
Okay.
It has been read to me at a very young age.
Okay.
So it's in here somewhere.
Okay.
I don't remember dick about the Battle of Five Armies.
Okay. So,
although, interestingly, Five Armies sounds a lot like a certain amount of Central and Allied powers fighting each other.
A little bit, yeah.
If you leave out the Turkish.
That's it's a parallel.
Yeah.
But thematically, so at the end of The Hobbit, the dragon is dead. And
great, now I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, well...
Did the dragon get poured like gold on it in the book? Because that happens in the movie. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's not that is an invention for cinematic.
Oh, okay.
Use.
Because Julie and I both, my daughter and I both loved the fact that the red dragon became a gold dragon briefly.
Yeah, momentarily.
Yeah,
just long enough to be like, oh hey,
this hurts.
As a D&D nerd, that's kind of funny. Yeah. You're immune to fire, so dropping that on you really doesn't do much. But,
right? Makes it hard for you to swim, to fly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Battle of Five Armies.
Battle of Five Armies. The dwarves, the elves, dwarves, wood elves, the men of Lake Town.
Right, that makes sense.
The goblins.
Okay, they're back.
And the eagles all wind up fighting. Now, originally, the battle is started because Thorin Oakenshield is gold mad, crazy, wants to try to get the Arkenstone of Thrain back.
Right.
And so he starts a fight that's originally 3 armies.
Okay.
Him versus the elves and the men of Lake Town.
Oh, okay.
Then the goblins show up because they're all fighting, and if we kill all while they're all fighting, it's easier for us to kill all of them,
right? That's the
take
thing.
Over the mountain, and set ourselves up.
Yeah, sing more songs.
Then the eagles show up to save everybody's ass because now I'm going to harp on this because this is an important point. Talking about Tolkien and allegory, you don't ever plan anything around the eagles. Because the eagles represent the grace of God, you heathen bastards.
Okay.
So anybody who wants to try to say, why didn't they just ride the fucking eagles into Mordor? You're missing the fucking point.
Okay. I just, every time you mention the eagles, I think Don Henley. And I can't help but I'm like, okay, well, so where were the eagles? Were they sitting on a corner in Winslow, Arizona? You know? They've got the 7 rings on their mind.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
The Nazgul want to rule me. The goblins want to drool me.
Yeah, you could filk that.
Oh, yeah.
Keep working on that.
Okay, we'll do it.
So anyway, these 5 armies wind up all fighting against each other.
Yeah.
And what's important about the way it is portrayed, remember, he took all of his source material out of Nordic, Germanic myth is the archetypes that he's working from.
Right.
And in those myths...
there was a witchy woman.
Warfare... Well, yes. But... moving on. We're walking. In those myths, the warrior archetype was the thing, and warfare
Sure.
was almost the goal.
Right.
You know, it was
You got to take it to the limit.
For Germanic tribes. Good day, sir. For Germanic tribes, warfare was how a man attained self-actualization, attained his place in society, attained, status, all of that.
Right.
And so
Found his center.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in Germanic myth and the sources that Tolkien is essentially kind of working from,
Sure.
war was this glorious, purposeful thing.
Sounds very British World War I, too.
Yes, but the way he writes the Battle of Five Armies is anything but. It is random. It is pointless. From the very beginning, Bilbo is saying, why the hell are we fighting?
So Bilbo is the everyman for us.
For God's sakes, Bilbo is the everyman for us. And the leadership are all champing at the bit to get fighting over stuff that the everyman is like, okay, look, there's plenty of this to go around. Why are you willing to kill people over it? This is stupid.
Right.
Just like the Imperial powers, World War I.
Right.
And the experience of the battle is chaotic and random and ugly. Bilbo is an unreliable narrator throughout the whole book. This is part of the literary criticism.
Well, he just wants to get back home.
Well, yeah.
Like every British soldier.
By the end of it, yeah. Like every Tommy, he just wants to go home. And in the middle of the Battle of Five Armies, he gets knocked on the head by a rock dropped by a goblin, and he misses the whole ending of it, which, by the way, is kind of similar to what happened to Tolkien in World War I.
Oh my god! Yeah, so Bilbo is Tolkien.
Bilbo is, in many ways, a self-insert. Not perfectly, but in many ways, he fulfills that role. It's a massive battle of attrition. It's ended by the intervention of the Eagles, maybe aircraft, and Beorn. Remember him? The werebear.
Oh yeah, that guy was cool.
Yeah, he gets cooler. I don't want to say too much, but dude.
Nice.
And he shows up. And by the way, tanks. Think about the way a bear-shaped druid in D&D works.
Yeah.
Beorn essentially
I play one,
does.
So
you do, yeah. So, and as Thorin is lying on his deathbed after the battle in the book,
right?
He says to Bilbo, because Bilbo apologizes for causing trouble and all this stuff, and Thorin says, no, I'm the one who needs to apologize to you. He has a Scrooge McDuck.
That's cool that he's got the humility moment. A couple times.
Yeah, and he says, if more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world.
So he really wanted a peaceful, easy feeling.
Nice. And in the battle, I'm not even going to dignify it, Thorin, Fili, and Kylie of the Band of Dwarves are all killed. And the whole thing is described, like I said, as being terrifying, ugly, random, just stupid.
Apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic and stupid. The stupidity part I can't overemphasize. Now, Lord of the Rings. Sauron, again, like I explained, started out as a lesser angel who served a god of, essentially, technology. Okay?
Wait.
Smith.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He served. Okay.
He was an apprentice god of technology. Okay?
Right.
He was the most cunning maker of stuff that there was amongst the Maiar.
Sure.
Okay. And he fell from grace by wanting to impose his own will on creation, like his master Melkor and Morgoth. This is part of the Catholic background of the whole thing, which I'm trying not to touch on too hard.
Go
because,
for it.
Again.
This is going to be a two-part episode. You know that. Again, the book was 3 parts.
Yes. Well, so Sauron fell from grace by wanting to impose his will on creation, just like Morgoth had. And when Morgoth was eventually, after doing all kinds of horrible things, Morgoth got crumpled up into essentially a black hole, a sphere, and flung out outside of creation, out onto the edge of existence, where he's chained down and imprisoned, and we'd never hear from him.
It's like a perverse version of what happens to Loki on the Isle of Silence.
Yes, or what happens to the Titans.
Prometheus, even.
Yeah. Yes.
Who is a Titan himself, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Or Maui from Moana.
Well, yeah. Nice.
That's from my daughter.
I like that.
When I read to her all the Greek myths,
Yeah.
her first thing was like, I read to her about Prometheus. She's like, well, that's like what happened to Maui. It's insane.
Okay.
She's 6.
Your
She has
creepy.
like all these. Yes, she is. She has all these choose your own adventure books. I bought her a bunch, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm reading her Norse mythology now.
Yeah.
And so I'm reading to her all these stories, and like half the characters, she's like, "Oh, I met him already. Oh, I met her already." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "In the oh, okay." And then she's like comparing it to the Greeks.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm
trouble.
No, I'm stoked.
So Sauron
Yes.
sets himself up in Mordor.
Okay, now Sauron is not Morgoth.
No, Sauron is like Morgoth's
apprentice. He's the Mickey Mouse to Morgoth's. Okay.
Yeah. So he sets himself up in Mordor, and he starts creating he starts creating more orcs. Orcs are originally a creation of Morgoth.
Okay.
And evil cannot create anything in Middle Earth.
It can only pervert what
It can pervert what has already been made.
Right.
So Morgoth kidnapped
Elves.
some of the earliest elves and broke them and twisted them and turned them into orcs.
Right.
Which interestingly means that, absent mishap, goblins and orcs are immortal, the same way elves are.
Explain.
So elves,
right?
In
I know.
Tolkien's world,
Yeah. Absent mishap,
they're going to live forever.
Right.
So he took elves,
Uh-huh.
twisted them up, broke them up, turned them into orcs.
Okay.
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Tolkien never really explains to us exactly how they reproduce, other than saying it has to do with spawning, that they're no longer male and female, that they somehow, do something.
You get them wet after
coming up.
midnight.
Yeah, and they come up out of the
Mogwais.
Yeah, Mogwai, yeah. And so, but the thing is...
Mogwais is, by the way, Samwise's father.
Nice. No, it's old Gaffer.
Jesus, he's got a name?
Yeah. He's
Wow.
got a name. God damn right he's got a name.
That's true. I mean,
Tolkien.
Yeah, he'd spent 4 chapters on a donkey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he spends 5 pages describing the curls in the hair on Bilbo's feet. Of course, Samwise. I'm exaggerating a little bit,
but only by a little.
But
yeah.
a little. That's actually what turned my mother off from ever being able to read the books.
The furry feet
was the just like, how much time are you going to spend describing this? Oh my God, is something going to fucking happen? And she put the book down and went on to other things. My dad and I, of course, are like, oh yeah, hit that vein. So,
so
where was I?
Why orcs are immortal?
So. It never says anywhere that in the process of doing that, he takes away their immortality. And we know that there are goblin kings, goblin chieftains, there are orcs that showed up 2 generations previously to be trouble for somebody in somebody's ancestry who show up in the books.
Okay.
And so... they have the same lifespan. They're not, in D&D we're used to hearing that orcs have a nasty, brutish,
cold, short lives. Yeah. But that could be
but
cultural, not biological.
Yeah, but in Tolkien,
yeah.
No, they're living under the mountain as long as, nothing happens to them.
Right.
Crawling around in the dark places, etc. So he's making more orcs. He's crafting the weapons and the tools for his orcs and his armies to use in his efforts against the free peoples of the world.
Now, real quick, he's in Mordor.
He's in Mordor.
What was in Mordor before he got there?
It was an empty wasteland. It was like Badlands.
It's essentially the Ruhr Valley.
Kind of. Yes,
okay.
Actually. So... Mount Doom in The Lord of the Rings is described as pumping all of this horrible black smoke into the air.
It really is the Ruhr Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he is, not only is it just Mount Doom, but it's all the forges and the foundries and everywhere that all the weapons and armor and equipment and massive siege tools and everything for his army are being crafted.
Right.
And so... there's this mechanized, the forces of evil have this mechanized industrial soot stained.
They're not making craft work like the elves, because the elves have like Orc-hist or whatever it's called.
Orc-rist.
Yeah.
Glamdring.
All these cool sounding, very pretty, very white, very swoopy, curvy.
Yeah,
and
silvery.
you get the idea that they were made with great care and great art, and like each one was handcrafted, etc., etc. So like probably the fire they used was even pure.
Yeah.
Whereas you get the feeling that in Mordor, we're pumping out gladiuses. Come on, let's just go.
Not even gladiators.
Yeah.
If you look at what the Uruk-hai
they're just like
in the movie, they're just sharpened pieces of metal with a spike sticking off the back.
Yeah.
And that was an intentional choice on Jackson's part in creating the aesthetic of the film.
Okay.
To keep with the spirit of what Tolkien described in Mordor being this essentially industrial wasteland.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like pumping out so much smoke that it's trying to kill a sunrise. You're gonna have a heartache tonight.
Expect to hear from my second, sir. So, and then there are 3 great sieges.
Now, real quick,
over the course of the Lord of the Rings.
Sauron is an eyeball at this point. He's not a man.
Yes, he has
what
not.
Happened
he has
to
not
humanity?
yet been able to take physical form. What happened to him.
He never had physical form.
No, he did have physical form.
Okay.
At the dawn of creation, like the other Valar and Maiar, he had a physical form.
Okay. The only way this would be more fun is if I had gotten drunk first, and then you're explaining it to me.
Oh, yeah. Or if I had gotten drunk and you were asking me these questions.
Oh, my God. That'd be so much better.
Oh, yeah.
We might have to do a separate episode.
Yes. So at the beginning of creation, all the Maiar, all the Valar had physical forms.
I also really like the fact that, like, to answer my question, you literally have to say, okay, but at the beginning of creation, you got to go to the beginning.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the First Age, Sauron's form, originally he was beautiful to behold. All of them were beautiful to behold. Morgoth turned to selfishness and evil and his own plots, and he became corrupted and looking like a vampire. Sauron, once he became Sauron, following Morgoth, he imagined Vader under the mask.
Right.
So
he
kind of
like
sallow, wasted.
What they made Wormtooth or Wormtongue to look like.
Yeah, in many ways. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
there's
then,
that parallel.
And then at the end of the Second Age, so the First Age ended with Morgoth being banished, like I described.
Sure.
And then Sauron managed to talk his way out of getting punished at the end of the First Age.
Oh, he really is Wormtongue.
Yes, he was very cunning. He was very fluent, and he got back into the good graces of the elves, who were living at that time.
We're not a forgiving race.
Who generally aren't.
No.
He got on their good side.
Okay.
And then wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I'm screwing this up. Morgoth got multiple strikes before he was finally banished. He was the one who got in good with the elves.
Okay.
Sauron wound up traveling from Middle-earth, where he had been with Sauron when Sauron was finally thrown out of the universe.
Okay.
And he was taken prisoner by the army that had defeated Morgoth.
Okay.
And the gods, the Valar, gave men, who by this time had entered the world, their own island. In the middle of the ocean, between Middle-earth and the sunny lands of the far west where the gods dwelt.
Okay.
They got their island. And Morgoth talked the kings of men into taking him back with them to the island. And he was so contrite, and he was so very sorry.
Right.
And, all this
We
stuff.
love a good redemption.
Yes. And over time, he corrupted the kings of men into driving them to rebel against the gods. Against the Valar. And the Valar smashed the island, and the ancestors of Aragorn are the loyalist kings and their followers who fled the island before that happened. Okay. And so he in the destruction of the island, he lost his physical form, and he became a specter, and he had to flee. Okay. And that's the beginning of Third Age.
Okay. So he's a giant eyeball at that point.
Yes, and as he gains more power and regains control, he's gradually becoming more and more physical. And depending on what interpretation you have of the text, at some point in some of his notes, Tolkien indicated that no, Sauron does have a form at the base of Dol Guldur, at the base of his tower.
Okay.
There is a physical form there, but he's not strong enough yet to venture out.
Oh,
so the eye is how he interacts with the world. He does still have a physical form coalescing. Or, no, he's still just the eye, but if he gets a hold of the ring, he'll be able to get a physical form.
So he's out there in Mordor, building his stuff up.
Yeah.
How to put it? Do people know he's out there building his stuff up?
So
all that smoke's got to be raising.
You've seen the first couple of parts of The Hobbit.
Yeah, first 2 movies.
Okay, so all of that stuff going on in Mirkwood with the necromancer.
Yes.
That is the first time anybody twigs to the fact that, oh shit, Sauron is back.
Right.
And that happens 50 years before Lord of the Rings.
Right.
So by the time of the Lord of the Rings, they know he's there because he's built enough of an army
to
take
Gondor
over.
We've been holding off Mordor.
Yeah. So they know it's him. They know he's there.
Okay.
But they don't have the military strength to stop to it.
Okay.
They don't know how to end him.
Right.
And until they end him, they can't win.
Gotcha. And the rings have existed this whole time?
Yeah. Well, Sauron was responsible for the creation of the rings. He tricked an elvish crafter into making the 3, the 7, and the 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then he created the 1.
Right.
As a master ring over all of them. He basically built code in a technological sense. He built code into the master ring to hack all of the others. And if you have one of the other rings of power on, and he has the master ring on, he knows where you are, and he can
do stuff.
You lose all of your bonuses to your saving throws against anything he wants to do to you.
Right.
Okay, so as soon as he put the 1 ring on, the elves and the dwarves were spiritual enough to recognize that, this is a problem. They took the rings off. Men, being mortal, being limited, didn't pick up on it, and they became the Nazgul.
Gotcha.
So anyway.
Okay.
So in Lord of the Rings, there are these 3 great sieges that happen. And again, this echoes trench warfare. Okay, there is the siege of Helm's Deep, in which there are thousands of Rohanian civilians stuck in a fortification that Saruman has ordered his orcs to completely wipe out. So we see total warfare. Orthanc, where Saruman has his tower and is finally defeated by the Ents. Yeah. Okay, and that is
okay. I remember that one from the movie.
Literally, nature versus industry.
Right. That's Eric Maria Remarque.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's still a butterfly.
Yeah. And then Minas Tirith, the siege of the city of Minas Tirith.
That's where he gets all the ghosts to come help him, right?
Well, that's the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, which happens outside of Minas Tirith.
But it's in that
it's the relief of the siege,
right?
And that represents world war. Because the forces that are besieging Minas Tirith are not only the orcs from Mordor, but they are men from near and far Harad, men from Khand, and the Dunlendings, who were ancestral enemies of the men of the Westmark, the men of Rohan.
Okay.
So we have all of these nations that are enslaved by Sauron or who willingly worship him,
right, acting
as his servants. The Oliphant being from, far Harad. Right. The Corsairs being from near Harad. And, all these different groups, it's world war, fighting against all the massed forces of the free peoples who show up. Okay, so we have all of these parallels to both world wars going on there. And I got more to say about who the heroes are and how they interact and how all that works and how that ties in with his experiences in the war.
Cool.
But we've hit the hour mark.
Yeah.
And we are going to need to break this up. So what do you think coming out of this? What is your takeaway from what I've told you so far? Other than the fact that, oh my God, this dude is a fucking dork.
No, actually, that's not. I wasn't thinking that. Right. Well, I got to say, obviously, here's what I'm saying. He is a man informed way more by his experiences than most writers make obvious. Maybe it's because of our proximity to him in age. Maybe it's because of the fact that the things that informed his experience were such world-breaking things that we've studied them quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's so clear.
Yeah.
And you talked about him not liking allegory.
Yeah.
But it's so clear that he's not writing allegory, he's writing his life.
Yeah.
Just in a different way.
Yeah.
And it's allegory. But he's not doing it on purpose. He's not purposely going.
Yeah.
He's not Animal Farming it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's not. Yeah.
He's. You know, there's a thing that my English teacher friends and I say, and it's that science fiction is about now.
Yeah.
Historical fiction is about now.
Yeah.
Anything you write is about the time that you're living in,
Yeah.
and you can't escape it.
No.
He didn't just not escape it; he fully tilted into it, though.
Yeah.
Like
he leaned in.
He absolutely did. It's given me more of an appreciation for him because for the longest time I've kind of been. I'm not an anti-Tolkienist, but more like here's a guy who needed an editor. And I haven't read his.
He did have a tin ear for poetry.
Yeah.
As a super fan.
Yeah.
Some of the poetry is just egregiously awful.
Well, and I, I've only had the books read to me. I've never read them myself.
Yeah.
And I anticipate I'll probably be reading them with my kids soon. Yeah. And so I've only ever seen the movies. Well, it just so happens that the guy who I'm like, this guy needs an editor, found the one director, or the director who found his works and decided I'm going to make movies out of this, is the one director who's like, this guy needs an editor. Mm-hmm. Because I
well, at least in the Lord of the Rings series,
in every series he writes. In terms of like he just goes on and on with it. I'm not saying that he wrote bad movies at all. No. Even I loved the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't need to watch them for another 20 years again though.
Yeah.
Like when my brother and I went and saw King Kong.
Yeah.
I turned to my brother 2 hours into it. I'm like, oh my God, how long is this movie? And his response was to turn to me. This is when he's back from Iraq, right? And just briefly though, he turns to me. He's like, "It's a Peter Jackson movie." And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, no, it's true.
Like, it's a thing.
That's it. Yeah, no, it's a thing.
Yeah.
What's interesting is, you know what genre it was Peter Jackson originally got his bones in.
No.
Earned his bones in.
If you say dramatic shorts, I'm going to laugh.
No.
Oh, okay.
Horror.
Well, a lot of people do.
Dead Alive.
I don't know.
Okay, it's a truly only a New Zealander could have come up with it zombie movie.
Okay.
It is way over the top. It is horribly disgusting. Like, oh my God. And the thing is, if you want to break down the Lord of the Rings movies and look at the way they are shot.
Oh, he's still pulling on it.
It is critically important that whoever did, at the very least, the Fellowship of the Ring needed to be a horror director. And I can talk more about that in our next episode.
Please do.
And get all pointy-headed and philosophical about
Please do.
His Catholicism as an influence, too.
Sure.
But Tolkien's Catholicism, Jackson, I don't know what his leanings are, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I'm a sucker for... Yeah, I'm a sucker for, like, I teach the Aeneid. So I teach, like, oh, by the way, here's what was happening at the time.
Yeah.
That's why you have this line right here.
Yeah.
And so I'm a sucker for that. And I studied a lot of history around World War I. Yeah. So it is gratifying to see a lot of that coming through in stuff that I've shown my kids.
Yeah.
Partly because it'll make it easier to explain World War I and World War II to them, but also because those are things that I dig. So that's what's coming out for me. I still am wondering how the hell Tom Bombadil figures into all of it.
So are an awful lot of literary critics.
Yeah. So and the only thing I can think of is like he was so into world creation that again, here's a guy who needs an editor. He made a sandbox and the characters just happen to walk through that.
Yeah, there are all kinds of theories about kind of what his intent was. There is a lot of evidence that Tom Bombadil and his wife are just straight up, I'm going to insert myself and my wife, whom I love dearly and think is the most beautiful woman in the world, into this story as these characters who have a role but aren't really the driving force behind the story. Like,
so it's director cameo.
They're here, director cameo. They're here. They impart some wisdom, but that's it, and they're gone, and we move on. Because he was. It's really, really sweet how effusive he was about how just besotted he was with Edith.
Interesting.
Like all his life.
Do you think that some of that had to do with the fact that his mom died early?
Well, they were both orphans.
Yeah.
He was an orphan, she was an orphan, and they were both looking for love and connection, and they were able to give it to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. I think it's appropriate to ask for book recommendations in light of who we're talking about. So.
Read The Silmarillion.
Okay.
And I'm done.
Cool. Yeah.
That's what I have to say right now.
Okay. Cool. I am not going to recommend a book because this whole thing is an advertisement for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So,
so there you go.
All right. Well,
if you want to shout at us, if you catch me making an error regarding the timeline of Sauron's descent into evil, which I know I've made, but please remind me where I did. You can shout at us at Geek History Time. You can also get a hold of me on Twitter at EH Blaylock.
And I'm at DaHarmony. Until next time, I'm Damien Harmony.
And I'm Ed Blaylock, and keep rolling 20s.